it's Michelle. Welcome to Six Things, more or less. Today we're going to make cecca, C-H-E-C-C-A, which is a great Italian tomato topping that can be used as a fresh sauce, or it can be used as a bruschetta topping, or topping to spoon on fish or chicken. And it's really popular this time of year, late summerish, because that's when tomatoes are at their absolute peak of deliciousness. For our 6 ingredients today, we're going to use tomatoes, basil, garlic, olive oil, salt, and pepper. I'm going to chop the garlic first. I'm just going to grab a couple of nice pieces of garlic, and then I'm going to get a really nice big piece for a little surprise for later. All right, so I'm going to use, I'm going to use this big piece for later. Let's chop some garlic. All right. I'm going to chop it up. We're going to want this one a little bit fine. Look at how I'm chopping this. I don't want to jam on my knife like this. So what I do is I keep my blade, the front of my blade pushed down, right? And then I move the back of the blade through, and then I put my hand up here. Okay, so what I'm actually doing is this motion right here. But by putting my hand up here, I have a little more control over the blade. So I'm just going to take this, and I'm going to put it in our bowl here. This is a serrated knife. These are actually for chopping tomatoes and fruit. So I have a bunch of different kinds of tomatoes here. These are the heirloom tomatoes. They have sort of a meaty, earthy kind of flavor, and they're really pretty. I've also got some of these mini cherry tomatoes. I think they're heirloom too, based on the colors. And then these are really fun. Whoops, we got a runner. These are called San Marzano tomatoes, and they make really the best sauce. If you're cooking off season, these tomatoes are almost always flavorful. And then I have these standard Roma tomatoes. You can make cecca with any of these tomatoes, whatever tomatoes you like, but I'm gonna make a mixture of them. Let's start chopping. When you're eating out of season, sometimes it just doesn't taste like a tomato. Well, a little secret to make it taste more like a tomato is to actually make cecca by putting the tomatoes in with the garlic and the salt and the pepper and the olive oil and the basil. It brings the flavor out of the tomatoes. And as I chop them, I'm just going to add them to this bowl. You want them a little bit small. I guess that would be like a ½ inch. So for a cherry tomato, you're talking about cutting it once in half, cutting it once in half again, so we got quarters, and then once in half again. If you've never cut a tomato before, which, hey, welcome to having some fun. What you want to do with a regular tomato is literally, you don't want to chop this part of it off because you're wasting valuable food. So you want to cut around this stem, and when you pull it out, well, hopefully you'll pull it out better than I just did, you can actually see that hard part right there. You don't want to eat that. It's not going to do anything to you, but it's not going to taste good. I would say this is about, I don't know, 4 cups of chopped tomatoes. I don't think I'm going to take a chance on that one. That was a little soft on the outside and a little dented. I'm not going to take a chance on that, because if you put a nasty tomato in, one bad tomato spoils the whole bunch. All right, so basil. This is actually a basil plant, which we usually have in the middle of our dining room table. My husband, Paul, is a really good herb farmer. I'll show you a really easy way to do this. You want leaves that are basically the same size. I bet Paul's like, what are you doing to my plant? And I'm just gonna rinse these really quick, so I'll be right with you. So I've got all my little basil leaves here, and I'm gonna pile them up in a pile. And then I'm gonna roll them. All right, then I'm just gonna slice it really fine like this, see? On this side, and then I'm just going to cut it a couple of times across the top. We don't want this super chopped up. We want to actually be able to see it inside the tomatoes because it's very pretty. Just going to sprinkle that in there like that. Now all we need to do is add salt and pepper and a little olive oil. So for salt, I'm going to do a pinch, okay? A pinch of salt is literally a pinch of salt. You just get in there, pinch it. I want to make sure that gets all the way through to the bottom, that's all mixed in there. Now right now there's no olive oil in here at all. I haven't added the olive oil. It's just garlic, tomatoes, basil, salt, and pepper. I don't like to put too much olive oil on stuff. I don't like it to taste greasy. I just like it to bring out the flavor. A capful. Caps are actually great ways to measure stuff. So this is keka right here. This is it. This is the whole preparation for keka. You want to let this marinate anywhere from, well, you can eat it right now, it'd be delicious. But if you leave it like this for about 10-15 minutes, you can leave it all the way up to a couple of hours before. If you were going to make pasta or you were going to, spoon this on top of fish or something, you could just make it and leave it like this. What we're going to do with it today is make bruschetta al pomodoro. Bruschetta al pomodoro is what we in America call bruschetta. Please don't ever say bruschetta. Bruschetta al pomodoro is a form of bruschetta. Bruschetta is grilled bread, and it's generally this ciabatta bread, which means slipper bread in Italian, but you can make it with any kind of crusty bread that has like a nice firm middle. So I'm going to actually cut this on an angle so that I actually have maximum amount of play space for my bread. I don't want them to be too thick, all right? But I also don't want them to be so thin that you can't load them up. That's about ½ inch. If we were in Italy right now, we would be taking this bread to a nice wood fire oven, but I'm in an apartment, and if I put an open flame going here, we're all going to get in trouble. So I am actually just going to toast it in my toaster. Yikes! Okay, I'm sure there's a better way to do that than what I just did. So now we have our grilled up toasted bread. You could just put olive oil on this, right? And it would be bruschetta. That's bruschetta. Grilled bread brushed with olive oil. This is bruschetta all'aglio. Remember our little peeled garlic that we saved from before? This is the secret to my bruschetta. But you have to make sure that your bread is toasted, well toasted, so it's crunchy, right? Hear that? So you're going to take your garlic and you're going to rub it right on that bread. Raw garlic. If it was soft, see, if this is a piece of soft bread, that's not going to do anything, right? But because this is crispy, and you just rub that over the top like that. Brush this with a little bit of our extra virgin olive oil. Just like this, if we were in Italy, this would be bruschetta all'aglio. But we have our great tomatoes here. Let's use them. Okay. Oh, that smells so good. You just pile that on. Right on top. So if I was going to serve this right now, there's this juice that's formed in the bottom of my bowl here. I would go ahead and dribble this juice, which is basically the tomato juice that came off of the tomatoes, and a little bit of olive oil. I would dribble that right on there because that softens the bread up a little bit, and it's going to make it easier to eat. But serving it in a couple of hours, just spoon the tomatoes. Bruschetta al pomodoro. So good. That fresh garlic, delicious. Hi, it's Michelle. Thanks for watching 6 Things, more or less. If you enjoyed what you saw today, give us a like, maybe share it on Facebook. And don't forget to subscribe! And...
We've lost it. You had one sip of wine.
And hit the bell, and hit the bell, and hit the bell to be notified of future episodes. And if you want to see one more thing for today's episode, click the video.